Columbian women were granted suffrage. This is the right to vote in 1917. Here you can see the very first woman to serve as an MLA in British Columbia. Her name was Mary Ellen Smith. She was elected the following year in 1918. Here's their very first picture of a parliament in BC's history to feature a woman. There's Mary Ellen Smith right in the middle. There was a quote from a newspaper at the time that described her as the one dress in a sea of mustaches. You can see it's a pretty good description. It's also worth mentioning that even though technically women got the right to vote in 1917, it still very much did not apply to everybody in the province. It was delineated to only people who were deemed to be British subjects. So that meant people of a certain race and a certain religious denomination, and also if you were a woman, whether or not you were married to a man, and also how much land you owned. So it was still very exclusionary, and it wasn't until many years later, after a rolling series of individuals and groups advocating for their rights, vocally fighting for their right to vote, that finally the universal right to vote was passed in 1952. And as of that year, everybody in BC, once of a certain age, can vote in provincial elections, regardless of religion, race, gender identity, land ownership, marital status, all of those things. So this is just a celebration of the various firsts of women throughout BC and Canadian political history. Nancy Hodges here was the first woman to be elected as a Speaker of the House. You'll remember I mentioned that position upstairs. It's a very important and prestigious role. And Nancy Hodges was the first female Speaker anywhere in the entire British Commonwealth. And she was elected right here in BC. Same as Rosemary Brown. She was the first Black woman to be elected to a provincial legislature anywhere in Canada, and the list goes on. That starts out in black and white, and it becomes colorized as it expands chronologically to that wall as well. So even after the tour is finished today, I definitely recommend that you check out this wall and you celebrate these very important women in BC's history with us. And speaking of important women, there's two more that we can talk about, one of which is our most recent former monarch, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. This stained glass window was made in her honor. It was installed in 2002, and it is our Golden Jubilee window, which is to say it celebrated her 50th year reigning as queen. Of course, in terms of monarch anniversaries, a golden jubilee is 50 years, a diamond jubilee is 60 years, and then a platinum jubilee is 70 years. And I don't believe anybody's ever gone past that. And I somehow doubt anybody ever will. But you can also see the coat of arms, the current up-to-date coat of arms in the center of the window here. Up at the top is what's known as Her Majesty's Royal Standard. So that was like a personal Canadian flag that would have been flown in honor of the Queen whenever she came to visit in person, which she did. She came here in 2002 and stood right about where you're standing there, sir. And she unveiled the window in a ceremony, and then she hopped on a plane and flew to Vancouver and watched her very first Vancouver Canucks hockey game, which I think was a very exciting day for the Queen. I also think that the Canucks actually won that game, unusually. Also down at the bottom of the window, you can see there are 5 small diamond-shaped sections. These are real jade that has been shaved quite thinly and put into the window because jade is our provincial mineral here in British Columbia. And also, unlike all of the other stained glass windows in the building, this window was not made in England. It was made and designed right here in Victoria. Yeah, any questions about the Golden Jubilee window? No, fantastic. The last thing we can talk about is this other wonderful stained glass window right over here. This was also made in honor of a former monarch, the namesake of the city, Queen Victoria. It was installed during the original construction of the building in 1897, and it was made to celebrate Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee, her 60th year reigning as Queen. A few interesting things about this window. It's much older. Like I said, it was made in 1897 in England and then shipped over here to be included in the construction. You'll notice the coat of arms up at the top, but this is an older, out-of-date version of the coat of arms. It's undergone many changes, and we didn't actually get the current up-to-date version until 1987. But this was one of the original designs. A few things about it have changed over the years. One of which is, you'll notice that in the center, the Union Jack, the British flag, is actually below the sun and the stripes, whereas in today's version, that order is reversed. Some of you may have heard the old British adage from back in the days where the British Empire owned land and had colonies in every hemisphere of the globe, so they had this sort of unofficial motto that the sun never sets on the British Empire. Here we have the sun literally setting on the British Empire. So somebody saw that back in the day and deemed it inappropriate and asked that we change it. And eventually we did. And now the order has been reversed ever since. You'll also notice there are no provincial dogwood flowers, the little white flowers down at the bottom. Instead, there is a variety of flowers that represented different aspects of the Commonwealth at the time. So we have the red English rose, the purple Scottish thistle, the green Irish shamrock, and also in the background, on what looks like playing cards for some reason, is the yellow Welsh daffodil. Another last thing that I'll mention about this window is that it used to be at the back of the building. That's why it's this peculiar shape. But during some construction in 1912, we took it down so that it wouldn't get damaged, and then we put it in the basement, and everybody forgot about it for 62 years. We completely forgot that we had this window. Nobody remembered where it was until finally somebody was wandering around in the basement in 1974, and they saw this huge window propped up in the corner, and they said, "Hey, the window! Remember the window? Let's put it back up." And we did, and it's been here ever since. Although, unfortunately, ironically, you can actually see it did sustain damage. There's some cracks in it, especially towards the bottom here, from not being properly maintained while it was in the basement for so long. So that is more or less the end of the tour, everybody. I'll be hanging around here for a few more moments in case anybody has any questions. But anybody looking to exit the building, you can just head to the right down that hallway, and also be sure to check out our gift shop before you leave. It is a not-for-profit organization. If you want to support this institution and the tour program that we do here, and all that money goes directly back into us and also parliamentary education all over BC. So thanks very much for coming, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you very much.